Hello, welcome to my studio. My name is Thomi. You've landed on Thomi Creates, which is my floss tube and all the other creative things that I do channel. You're very welcome. If you've been here before, I really appreciate it. Starting to build a little momentum maybe. That's good. Today I have a bunch of different stuff, so I might be a little bit scrambled. Not a lot of whips, but a lot of different things going on. One thing that I forgot to do for the last video to say was that I had been doing double duty, like trying to finish my son's birthday present and make him an outfit for prom, and I never put a picture of his prom in, so I'll do that over there. Yeah, on that side. He had a great time. He's so cute. He's such a sweetheart. I could hardly believe that he's going to graduate at the end of June. Just not even a month away at this point, right? Today's June 2nd. So, yes, my baby. I don't know how I got here, but I did. I made it. I made it. 2 kids, they're okay. I don't know if anybody else has that feeling too. Like if you can get them to graduation and they haven't completely imploded at least once, then you're doing good, right? So yeah. So got prom outfit made. I chunked away at his birthday present. He and his dad went to Ohio to see his grandparents, and I stayed behind, and I had 4 whole days home by myself, and so I got it done. I got it done. This is sampler 53? 63. It's called sampler 63. It's by 2x2 stitch art. Yeah, on Etsy. And it's monochrome. There were 29,708 stitches, and I got them all done. And you know, when I started this project, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I didn't think that seemed like that big, but it's a big project. It's a big project. So here we go. I will pull it up here. I put it on a board. Let's see, try to get it straight, a little bit better in the light. Not focusing on me. There we go. I'm sorry, I have to talk myself through these things still. So yeah, it came out really cool. I really love the there's a good balance of black and white, and the way the space is broken up. It's really nice. It has a good rhythm to it. I like that it's just a little bit off square. And you know, I like that, like, the dragons are very similar, but they're not the same. It's a nice piece. It's really nice. I think Luke is really gonna like it. So I have it, I washed it because when I first started, I didn't realize how dirty things were gonna get. So I at first I wasn't careful about handling the fabric very much. But about 1/3 of the way in, I was like, ooh, kind of gross. So I started like washing my hands a little bit more carefully before I would sit down to stitch, especially on the white fabric, on the white Aida. So this is on 20 count white Aida. I got it from SkillSupply on Etsy. I really like this Aida, but I'll talk later about trouble I ran into with another one of their Aidas. Yeah, so I ordered a frame. I just ordered a simple metal black metal frame, figuring, you know, it's a really dense, complex pattern, and I didn't want a frame that had anything textural going on to take away from the texture of the piece. Now, and I didn't include glass, so I'll have that framed next time for you, because by then I'll have given it to him and it'll have been his birthday. His birthday's a week away, next Sunday. So yeah, cool. So I'm very excited about that. I'm really, oh, and I put his his initials in the central. There was a little central motif, sort of like this one, but just smaller. But I put his initials in there instead. I thought he'd like that. Yeah, so happy 18 to my little boy. Okay, so that's the big piece. I'm having a hard time looking at the camera today. I don't know why. I think I'm going to put this behind me so I don't spill my tea on it. There we go. Yeah, I've got my tea here, and just my luck, I would just dump it, right? And I've got a cold today. If I snuffle, I'm really sorry. I'm trying not to. The tea will probably make it worse, but it makes me feel better. So maybe I won't lose my voice going through it. So that's a big project, and finishing it was kind of weird because people talk about how they miss a piece when it's done, and I definitely feel that. Like I have the leftover quite a bit because I had no idea how much floss to buy, so I have multiple skeins over, and I could easily do another project similar size or even bigger. And so I'm looking at the floss, and I'm like, do I have any patterns? And I talked myself out of just starting something randomly, to kind of fill that gap. I did a new start, but I stuck to my plan. I did the planned new start. Excuse me. It was hot. Okay. The biggest problem I ran into it really was that, I'm pushing myself to do, I think the last 2 weeks I had to do almost 600 stitches a day. And I have arthritis. I've had Lyme disease for over 20 years, and it's under control, right? I'm not getting worse, but when I abuse myself, 600 stitches a day, it was a little much. That last day I was in pain, and I just had to push through. I finished Thursday. So I'm going to show you. I wear these, and I got these at Joann's. Can you tell I like green? Look behind me. I got green gloves. These things I've had for a long time. I got them originally for hand quilting, and I wear them inside out. Can you see? Inside out. Because in addition to like all the other things that Lyme disease brings, I have fibromyalgia, and then my skin is like really sensitive. So all the little seams on the inside of the gloves just drove me crazy. Painful crazy, not get over it crazy, but would leave deep dents because they're support gloves, so they're really snug. And I cannot for the life of me find gloves that don't have big lumpy seams, especially like in between the fingers. Like, I don't know. They work inside out, but they're ugly, and they catch on things, and that's kind of annoying. So if anybody has suggestions for a brand of glove, and it can't be totally synthetic either, because again, my skin revolts. Anything that has like elastane in it is I don't know, my body just reacts and doesn't like it, and I start to feel like I'm going nuts. But these definitely saved my hands, and I think that from now on, even when I'm not pushing myself, I'm gonna be more diligent about wearing gloves, because it really does help. And I'm 51. I'm hoping I have at least 20 more years of using my hands every day, right? Like, I can't wreck them now. So yeah, any suggestions on that would really be great. I would appreciate it. I learned a lot too about like the materials that I like. I went through, I tried a few different needle sizes on this project, and I ended up on a 24. And that was still a little big for me. Doing with two strands through, it was a little bit hard to pop through the fabric, and I think that's why I had the wear and tear on my hands. I didn't have a 26. 28 was too small. So I think I should, before I work on 20 count again, I'm gonna try a different needle size. which I only thought of today. So I put an order in recently, and I'm going to show you at the end what I got. But yeah, I should have thought of that before I put my order in. Okay, so that's my big reveal. I'm very happy with that. Dragons is done. I even have time to watch a few tutorial videos on how to lace it and mount it and frame it. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and maybe I'll try to record him opening it. I don't know if he'd be okay being on up on YouTube. He's kind of a private person. I mean, he knows I talk about him. It's okay I talk about him, but having a video of himself up on YouTube, he might not like that. So okay, I'll work the next I did a start, because of course I finished something, so I had to start something, and I talked to you guys about that. Let me pull it up here on I don't have a picture of it, so I'll there, over there. Sometimes I think maybe I need to I have a hard time with right and left anyway, right? Okay, so this is the Mother Earth by TinselCrossStitch, and it is 167 by 269 stitches, but it's not, it's not very dense. You can see from, I did it right that time, the picture here. It's a pretty open pattern, and I just got a bear start on it this weekend. I had a busy weekend because my grandson, we had his 2-year-old birthday party. That was fun. He's like, oh, I'm the center of attention. He's running around. He's definitely turned 2 in his mind as well, because like a week ago you could ask him to do anything and he would do it. You'd say stop, he'd stop. It's like a little switch, and all of a sudden I don't have to, do I? Like, you really can't make me because you're 20 feet away. So yeah, my daughter's in for the fun part now. So anyway, Mother Earth, I got a start on it. Let's see. I started in the very bottom center, and I just worked this. There's the roots that go across, that go down. And so I'm going to do that first. That was the only place I could find like a good starting spot from the edge, to make sure I had it placed properly. I think my fabric should be plenty big, but yeah, you never know. You never know. So I'm going to get this a little closer, get my face out of the frame. There we go. Hello, focus on the thing. There we go. And I like how this is looking now. So this is 25 count Aida that I dyed myself. I used cocoa brown Rit dye, and it's really nice. It's warm. It's almost purpley, but it shows that green really well. The green shows up really well, I think. I don't know. It doesn't want to focus. And I'm not looking at the camera. I'm sorry. So it's not dense. I'm going to be using different yellows for the flowers that go up around the top. Probably some pretty vibrant yellows, because the green is pretty intense. So that's just about 100 stitches. I like how it's looking. I'm doing two strands over one, 25 count, and that's like perfect coverage. I think if it was any tighter, like if it was 28 count, it would be way too bumpy. But I like how it's just enough. It's got some texture. It catches the light. Doesn't sink into the brown. I really wanted to make sure that the brown didn't really show through the solid areas, and that would make the color pop better, I think. So far so good. I'm excited. This was the second pattern that I bought, and I started it about the same time I started the dragon one, at the end of January. but I started it on really dark linen, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get the stitches to look good, and I didn't understand counting yet, and so I decided to wait, try it on something simpler, and it's good. I started in the same spot the first time I did it, and now, like, just what, 4 months in, I can really, like, I just flowed right into it. It was easy, you know, and when I started it before, I was like all tense and I didn't know what I was doing, and I kept making mistakes and I kept tearing it out. So I've come a long way. So it's kind of nice to know that, like, oh yeah, I've got something figured out anyway. So that's my start. And I don't have any timeline for that. I'm probably just going to work on it mornings, maybe a few threads every morning, for the time being, because I have others that I like to work on the weekend, like this whip that I have. Let's see. This is Tree of Life by TinselCrossStitch. And I don't know how clearly it shows up. I don't know if you can see, but it's sort of stretched. That's not an illusion from the camera, from recording. It actually, this Aida that I bought from SkillSupply, this is 28 count. It's not even weave. Like, but I mean, look, you see, those are supposed to be pretty much round, and they're definitely ovals. It doesn't really matter for this design because the central motif is a tree, so it's just going to be a little taller. There's no like animals or anything that, well, there's birds, but they're very abstract. So I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I'll show you another piece. It's more clear, but this I work on the weekends. It's not picking up the color very well at all, because it's like an aqua, dark teal, 3 different colors. But I'm liking moving around on this piece, different motifs. That's different from anything I've done yet, where things aren't all connected. So I like that. And it's delicate. I'm doing 1/1, 28 count. And it's DMC floss. I don't remember the colors. Let me look what my notes say. Yeah, I didn't write down the colors. I'll have to do that for next time. Yeah, so that one is a really pleasant weekend stitch. You know, I can do little bits here and there. It doesn't matter if I'm constantly being distracted. So that I can't work on it when I'm watching my grandson, though. That's a level of distraction, like, I just can't quite handle that, right? So yeah, that piece, I kind of would like to have that piece done by the end of November. It feels kind of like a wintry piece to me, so I think I'd like to have that out for the solstice. Okay, next is not a restart, but I'm reusing materials. So if you watched my last video, I UFO'd the full coverage Middle Earth map that I had started, and I had just a little start, and I realized either I'm not ready for full coverage or I'm never going to be ready for full coverage. It was not happening, and it hurt my brain to do it. So I've repurposed the fabric and the threads, and I spent a lot of time looking. Some people had some suggestions. I didn't end up taking those suggestions, but they helped me get there. You know what I mean? Like I appreciate the input because it helped me get to where I needed to be. So these were all the threads from the Middle Earth. Oh, these are terrible, messed up. I thought I had this organized. Sorry, here we go. So these are all the threads from the Middle Earth map. There's 25 of them. And I have gone through and picked out 15 that work better together. So I've left out the really dark ones like this, the black, this really dark brown, the dark green and dark brown here I'm not going to do, and this dark purple I'm not going to use. But what I'm going to do with it is make a Quaker using this fabric that I dyed for the Middle Earth map. And this is the same Aida, the 25 count Aida that I just showed you before on the Tree of Life. And you can really see, if it'll focus, you can see I started to grid it out. This is with thread. So I just went in and every 10th stitch every 10th thread I took a stitch. So it's a 50 by 50 grid. So knowing it's 50 by 50, and if you look at these, they're not squares, they're rectangles. So I stopped gridding it at that point and I was like, okay. So over the space of, 50 stitches, it's about, I'd say 3/16 of an inch off, which is quite a bit over the course of the whole piece, right? Like, it's going to be at least an inch. So thankfully, my piece of fabric is big enough that I didn't, I don't have to worry that I mismeasured. I'm going to run out of fabric. But it's, I don't know, for this pattern, it's not going to matter. It's a Quaker, and it's not going to matter. So I chose Quaker Virtues. I saw this behind, I was watching somebody on a Flosstube. Oh, who was it? Let me look at my notes, because he answered my question really fast, because he wasn't talking about it in his video. He was talking about some other stuff, and I can't find it. I'll figure it out, and I'll put his information below, because I really appreciated him answering my question. So, I asked him what it was, and he had his in a octagonal frame, because you can see that it has the corners off. So it's not a full octagon, but I really like that shape that mimics the Quakers. And with this fabric being not really even weave, I think it's going to be kind of interesting and see how the motifs turn out. See how it looks. I couldn't find a good picture of this pattern anywhere online, and I couldn't find that anyone else had done it and posted a good clear picture of it. So yeah, what I'm going to do is as I go through, I'll pick each motif. I'll find a different color from these. There'll be 15 of these colors, and I'll just kind of choose as I go. I like structure a lot, but I also like to be a little playful within the structure. The structure makes me feel comfortable, but if I stick to every little thing, then it gets a little dull at the same time, right? So it's kind of like you have to feed your brain both of the things that it wants, even if they contradict each other. Like lose weight, love chocolate. Yeah, so I'm interested to see how, like, the colors will be very subtle. The idea, I first got the idea for doing this from Colin on Stitchpocalypse, which I mentioned him last time. And he was working on a piece, I forget the name of it, but he called it Sludge on Sludge. And I just thought that was so funny, but I really liked how his piece was looking too. Like it was so subtle. And so I'm excited to do that, to like kind of play on like some of these flosses. They just look brown, but then you stick them in front of the yellow and they turn purple. And so I think that's going to be fun to just kind of pick away at it and just take my time. One reason I'm gridding it out is so that I'm not stuck just like starting in one spot and, you know, working out from there. So maybe if I feel like doing all the corners and then moving in or whatever, I'll know where I'm at, and I can just kind of like, oh, I want to use this color somewhere else and just jump over and do it. And that also, it kind of increases the challenge for making the colors all work, like what's next to what. I don't foresee needing to add any colors, but I will if I need to. So when I'm done with the project, I'll make available, maybe a PDF or something, the colors that I used for it. And it's an older pattern. It was originally copyrighted in 2008, reprinted in 2016. So it's definitely older, and that might be why I can't really find any good pictures of it. Definitely nothing on Instagram. Oh my goodness, I got a mess in front of myself now. Let me clean up, and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm back. All cleaned up. Tea's not too hot anymore. The dogs are in here with me, so you'll hear them. They're annoying. But if I put them outside of the studio, they can see through the door. It's a French door, and they stand there and they whine at me, which is much more annoying, I'm sure, for than if they're in here annoying me. It's getting close to that time of day where they get the food stuff. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so back into plans, I guess. So I'm planning to start the Quaker Virtues. And I forgot to say, like, I tend to I don't like the sentiments on a lot of things. Not like is not the right word. I don't identify with the sentiment on a lot of things. But that one I do. You know, the Quaker Virtues are very, it seems very, very human to me. Like, they all make sense. And so I like them being on there. And that, you know, that kind of changes for me too from day to day. Like sometimes I'll be like, I don't like anything with any text on it. And then I'll see a pattern. I'm like, ooh. So, you know, take it all with a grain of salt, right? Okay, so this just came in the mail today. So this is going to be both a plan and part of my haul. This is the first smallish like sampler that I've decided to do. I decided I needed to do a sampler sort of thing, but I didn't want to do a big one just in case I really didn't like it. I kind of got burned when I did the Middle Earth map, the full coverage. So this is Strawberry Fields Forever, Blackbird Designs. And it's pretty small. Pretty small. Yeah. 95 by 138 stitches. So not big. And the fabric here, they called it a gray, a Confederate gray, I think. It doesn't look gray to me in the photo. And I like the idea of making the reds really jump a little bit. So I ordered this, took the plunge. This is 40 count linen. Which one did I pick? It doesn't say what brand it is. I'll have to look that up. But it's got some modeling on it, not a lot of contrast, which I like. And it's green. It's like a just barely green, a little bit yellow. So, and I'm gonna take the DMC list from the pattern and just find stuff in my stash that works. I've got plenty of reds and greens. There's a couple yellows, some grays. I'm sure I've got enough to make to make it turn out really nice. So I'm going to be doing this 1/2 on 40 count. I've not had any much luck with linen yet, and I think that the one piece that I've stitched on is a Zweigart 30 count, and it's really loose, and I keep losing my stitches. They keep sliding all around, and I can't get the tension right, so all my stitches look kind of wonky. And it occurred to me that instead of like going down and just, you know, using Aida and doing bigger stitches, that maybe the better idea would be to go up and get a more tightly woven fabric that was more stable, and then I wouldn't have those problems. So that was a little bit counterintuitive, I guess, from what I would first have thought when I first started stitching. Like, you'd think the smaller the holes and the finer the fabric, that it might be harder, but I have a feeling that this is going to be easier for me. And I didn't pick a dark color on purpose too. Like, I wanted something that had some light to it. And this has, it's got some sizing in it, and I think I'm just going to leave that. With Aida, I've been washing out the sizing because Aida is so stiff, but this is nice. This has just enough body, and I think I might try stitching in hand. I might. I think maybe what I'll do is just like on one of the corners, I'll do a couple tests. Like, I'll stitch in hand, see if that works, kind of maybe practice starting and stopping threads. I've slowly been picking up different techniques like pin stitch and the single and the loop start, and then the loop start for single threads. I just learned yesterday from Cam the Stitcher, so thank you. No, it wasn't Cam the Stitcher. It was Cam the Museum Stitcher? I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. I'm sorry. You really helped me. I will put her in the notes below. So I think she's got a lot of tutorials that I'm gonna learn a lot from. I like her presentation style and the pace that she goes and the detail that she shows. So that's nice. I'm glad to have found her. And there's other people that I've learned things from too, but just yesterday, so she's fresh in my mind. So yeah, I think that's going to be a sweet little stitch. It feels summery, and you know, it's almost strawberry season here, even though it's been. I live in central New York, just, you know, between Ithaca and Syracuse, along Cayuga, you know, near Cayuga Lake, and south of Owasco Lake, and we've had, what did they say, 28 consecutive wet or snowy weekends. We haven't had a sunny weekend in over 6 months. So, you know, it's getting close to strawberry season, but they're all going to rot in the fields. And I'll tell you that the slugs in my garden, it's a slug fest. So I've got a lot of stuff started out there, but there's so many holes in the brassicas, and, you know, the cabbage leaves are kind of like Swiss cheese looking. But it's sunny today, and it's supposed to be sunny tomorrow and Wednesday too. So hopefully we can make it to the weekend and have a dry weekend. It doesn't even have to be sunny. If it's just dry, I'd be happy, because I'm tired of trying to get stuff done in the rain. I like gardening in the rain sometimes, like if it's like that soft, misty Oregon kind of rain, but we've not been having soft, misty Oregon kind of rain. We've been having just like rain. Okay, I'm gonna stop complaining about the weather now. I promised myself I wouldn't complain about the weather. Okay, so strawberry fields, I'll be starting that this week. Probably not today or tomorrow. If there's a rainy day, I'll start it. So those were new purchases that came in the mail today. I also got this white linen, just a tiny little piece to try out. This is 46 count. And Wow, that's really not cut on the grain. That's a pretty crummy. Now see, that bothers me, right? Like, you pay a lot of money for this fabric. I'm not going to say who I ordered this from, but it should be at least cut close to being on the grain. But this is not at all. And so, like, you know, if you put a design on this, it's going to slant, right? Like, it'll go, you know, your stitches stay with the grain, so it'll be like crooked. So it's deceptive, like how big of a thing I could put on here. That's another reason that, like, I gridded out the Quaker Virtues fabric, partly just to help me move around, but also so that, you know, I could see. With Aida, the grain is a lot more obvious when you first look at it, but with linen it's not. So what I'll probably do for something like this that I can see, like I don't know if you can tell, but that corner is like an inch. That's how much the grain is off. Like a whole inch is crooked. So that's, you know, fabric I paid for but didn't get. Another reason to buy really big pieces of fabric, because they're less likely to be twisted and torqued that way. So I'll probably grid this out before I try to start anything on it, just to see what kind of size I actually have that I can use. I don't have any plan for a specific pattern for this. I don't know. I will probably leave it white because it's a practice piece. And if I like it, I will probably just order a whole yard and just cut it myself so that it's not crooked. It feels great though. And it looks like I look at this and I think, yes, like I can stitch on that, because I can tell what the weave looks like. That the loose Zweigart, it kept moving around and I couldn't get a good lock on what I was looking at. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that the higher count fabrics do it for me. And I really, I started cross stitching probably a week after Jean from the attic passed away. And so I didn't have any experience of her at all, but I've heard so many people do tributes to her and talk about how much she influenced them and how positive she was, and I guess her thing was anybody can stitch on 56 count. And so I got 46 count thinking, okay, well we'll see, and if I like it, I will try the 56 count too, just cause why not, right? She's probably right. You can do what you figure out how to do, and if you want to do something strongly enough, I think most of the time you can at least get to a semblance of there, and then that applies to all of life, not just cross stitch. I got the snag nabbit because that makes sense to me. I saw a couple people talk about that, and I have been using John James needles for a long time with all my stitching. They've become my favorite over the years, and so I got a size 28 tapestry and a size 10 embroidery. I was thinking that maybe on the smaller count linen I would need something smaller than a 28 count even. So we'll see. Oh my goodness, June, is it that bad? she's really complaining. Almost done, sweetie. June is an old dog. She's 16, and so, you know, old people like their schedule to be their schedule, right? So I've pretty much decided that, or realized that most of my, maybe not most, but I really, really am attracted to monochrome pieces. I just am. I really like them. And obviously other people do too, because there's lots of available projects out there. And since I don't have much stash, I thought I would try out some different floss options. And so I got a bag, wrong side, of Sulky 12 weight. And I got these 3 colors. Just because I like them, I know I'll use them. And I'm thinking I want to do a long dog eventually. I have like 3 or 4 that I keep looking at, but I can't decide. What I might do is let my son pick, he'll pick Ragnarok. But I don't know, that would be fine by me. So I thought, if I had, this is a little bit too light now that I've got it here. Unless it's on white, I would think, or a really pale orange. That might be cool. Pale orange. Get light tangerine color behind that. I can see that. Or this dark green. I really like this purple. I'm going cross-eyed looking at it. Yeah, I really like this purple. That might be the way that I go for the long dog for the first try. And somebody had said that the 12 weight is just a little bit thicker than a single strand of DMC. And I thought, ooh, that sounds perfect, because on the 25 count Aida that I use, the 2 over is really nice. It pops up. But if I was doing like a bigger piece, I wouldn't want it to be so textural. I'd want it to kind of sink into the fabric a little more. And I think that would be perfect. But 1 strand might be too wimpy, right? The crosses wouldn't be dense enough. So I'm hoping that this thread, because it's more expensive, but I'm working really small. I'm working over 1 on just about everything, and so I don't need as much floss for a lot of these patterns as they recommend. So maybe it'll yeah, orange. I'm gonna have to do this on orange. Maybe I'll try to find a nice orange linen to do this. I've noticed, and I think a lot of people have noticed, that there's a trend toward brighter fabrics and more intense colors, and I like that. I really like that. I think for some things it's good to have just a neutral ground, right? When you've got a lot of color going on, or when you've got a lot to think about when you're looking at a piece. But if the idea behind the piece is like blam color, then why not make the fabric go blam to start with, and then you can just play with everything right from the get-go. I like that idea. So that's kind of a down the road plan. I don't think I'm going to be starting a long dog in the next few weeks anyway. But mark my words, I'll be doing it next week. But I've got enough going on right now, and so on to other plans, channel plans, I guess I could say. I've been really enjoying the Flosstube videos. I like making them. I find myself thinking of different ideas and making notes, and as I become just more physically comfortable being in front of the camera, setting up and stuff, I like Flosstube. I love the community. People make lovely comments, and it's good to have community. And I've wanted to be part of a community, a creative community, for a long time. And I've not ever really found one where I can grow in it and I won't outgrow it. I know I won't outgrow this community. That's a weird way to put it, but I don't know how else to say it. I guess, you know, it's the kind of community where it keeps expanding organically in itself, you know. I don't have to, there's no paywall, you know, I don't know. You're all Flosstube converts. You've gotten to this part in the video and you're still watching it, so you get it. But I was doing, you know, I don't just cross stitch. I just started cross stitching, but I've been a creative my entire life, and so I thought that I could do Flosstube videos and then videos about the other things that I do, and I can't do that. I'm having a really hard time because the other things that I do, like recording myself being creative is very different than sitting here talking about what I've done and what I plan on doing and what's exciting, right? And for the other things that I do, it's very nonverbal. I've had a really hard time, like I can't even voice over things that I've recorded. My brain just turns off, the words disappear. And so that makes for pretty boring videos, you know, just like all kinds of sped up stuff, which I don't like watching those, and I don't like being watched when I'm doing really intuitive work. I can't really be intuitive while I'm on camera. So I think for now, I'm going to step back from videos other than Flosstube, but I still am excited about all those things that I do, and I do a lot of different things. So I think what I'll do is I'll just have a little segment at the end, probably. I've seen other people do that, like they'll talk about Flosstube and then they'll be like, okay, now I'm transitioning to knitting, and thanks for staying this long, bye if you're not gonna, you know. So I think I'll do that. And today I thought I always have some different kind of outfit on, and I like to mix things. I have a pretty eclectic taste, and I make most of my own clothes. So I thought for today anyway, and maybe randomly once in a while when I have a funny outfit on, I will show you what I'm wearing. So I'll cut that in here, what I'm wearing today. And I'm not used to showing off my stuff, so just, you know, bear with me when I look really awkward and I do the little spin thing. All right, and when we come back, I'll show you which pattern I've used for that. Okay, I'm back. I'm bright red. I'm very self-conscious about stuff like that. So anyway, so this dress, it's more like an apron dress kind of. It's this pattern, Simplicity 8641. And I'll put a link in the description below. I watched a tutorial on this exact pattern, and I'm glad I did, because it's actually a very complicated and confusing pattern. Unneedfully so. I will not sew this again. I like the dress a lot. I like it a lot. I haven't worn it very much because it's kind of like one of those in-between things where it's too warm or it's not warm enough. And I used quilting cotton for it, which I've always kind of done. it's really warm. Like quilting cotton doesn't make a good summer dress. No matter how pretty the fabric is, it really doesn't make a good summer dress. It's hot. It's densely woven. So this is quilting cotton, and the reason I've chosen this is because I made my daughter's toddler quilt almost 25 years ago, and I used this fabric for the back. It's got little swamp creatures and stuff on it, butterflies and dragonflies. And then late one insomnia-filled night, I was on eBay looking at vintage fabric, and I found it. And there was 3 yards of it, and so I bought it. And so I have the old quilt, and I'll put a picture up. Wrong way there, and and show you the quilt. It's very faded at this point, but I like having this. This to me feels like my grandma dress, you know. And so today is my grandson's 2nd birthday. It's a good day to wear it. I have yet to make him a quilt. I will be making him probably a twin size, like bed size quilt for his first grandma quilt. So yeah, that's this outfit. The shirt I've had for a while. I got it at a thrift store, and you know, I like mixing things. I don't usually do matchy, like matching to me is very different, I think, than what a lot of people think of as matching. And as I show off my outfits, you'll see it's an eclectic kind of matching. All right, so I think that does it for today. I will be back probably. I'd like to start doing every week, but I'm not going to promise because my health kind of goes up and down, so I can't really predict every time. But I think I'm going to get enough done every week. I've been feeling better, so I'll aim for next week, same time, same place.